up, guys? It's the Sugar and Coffee Special here on Temperamental. Not because it's the anniversary of the sketch or anything, but just because I wanna. Good morning!
Good morning! It's time for Sugar and Coffee!
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Hey, it's Lisa Foiles here. I will start with a little introduction. As I said, my name is Lisa Foiles, and most people my age know me from a Nickelodeon show called All That. You are much too young. But yeah, I was on the show All That from seasons 7 through 10, so I want to say around 2000, 2004. And it was a sketch comedy show. They like to say it's the SNL for kids because it was high energy, crazy sketch comedy filmed in front of a live studio audience every Friday. I'm also known from a Emmy Award-winning episode of Malcolm in the Middle, which I just heard they're rebooting. Very exciting. Yeah, it was only one episode, but it was very memorable. So a lot of people recognize me from that one episode. It's called If Boys Were Girls, and I played the female version of Malcolm, if you ever go back and watch that. So let's get to your questions. Let's see, how did you get started in acting? What inspired you to pursue it seriously? So I started in theater, and that is where I think everyone should start. It teaches you so much about just the lingo of being on camera. You know, you think that like stage left and stage right and upstage and downstage are theater terms, but we use them in the on-camera acting world as well. And just there's lots of different types of acting, and theater is very big, right? You want the person in the back row to get the same experience as the person in the front row. And on-camera acting is incredibly different. It's very intimate. So like all you have to do is think about it and the camera picks it up. Like it's all in the eyes, whereas theater, like I said, it's very big and dramatic. But regardless of what type of acting you're interested in, sketch comedy, even hosting, like anything you want to do on camera, starting in the theater is, I can't stress enough how important it is. And even if you start in a small role, like in a background actor, just being in the environment and learning people's names and seeing what their jobs are and learning how to be directed and how to behave on set, it's just so invaluable. And it's so accessible to everyone. It's very hard to land on-camera jobs, like legitimate on-camera jobs, and then, get into the union and then get union jobs. Like it's very difficult to do that. It's a long process, but starting in theater is much more accessible to anyone. So I definitely recommend that. And yeah, I started in theater as just a munchkin in the background of a Wizard of Oz production. Yes. And had a blast. And yeah, I was dancing competitively at the time as well and taking singing lessons. So I was doing all three. I was singing, dancing, acting, total triple threat stuff. And I just loved all of it. Once I got on stage doing theater, that's where I knew I wanted to do it forever. Let's see. What was the moment you felt like, okay, this is really my career now? I was doing All That, and, it was my first like big TV show, right? Like I was a series regular. Like I wasn't just a background actor. I wasn't just a day player. Like I'm on the show. Like I'm one of the cast members. I'm on the poster that's on the side of the building. That was such a big moment, but it didn't really become real for me until I got recognized for the first time. Even though I was on a very highly chaotic Nickelodeon show where I had to be bigger than life and, wear funny wigs and wear funny makeup and say funny things and get slimed and all the crazy things you do on Nickelodeon. I was actually a very introverted kid. I was pretty shy. And so going to like the mall with my friends and not being able to have a normal kid experience because I was getting recognized by people, like other kids, that they would just like come and attack me and hug me and be like, oh my gosh, you're Lisa Foiles. Like that was probably the moment I'm like, okay, this is real. Like this is a real career. I'm actually like famous. This is very strange. Didn't anticipate that. So yeah, that was probably the moment where I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Let's see. What were some challenges you faced early on and how did you push through them? I think that it's really hard to deal with sorry, I have a cat here who's totally throwing me off. Say hi, Kevin. Aww. Kevin. It's really hard to deal with rejection at any age, especially when you are young, because you are still dealing with insecurities and finding out who you are and what you like and just who your friends are, who who you hang with, just everything about you is a discovery when you're young. And so the last thing you want are casting directors telling you that you're too tall, too short, too pretty, too ugly, your nose is too big, your lips are too small. Like, it's just like, they can be so specific with their notes about your appearance. And when you're young, that can really affect you. And so pushing through that, right? Learning it's not personal. Casting directors are there to do a job. They are under a lot of pressure. They are under a time crunch. There's a lot of money on the line. And they need to cast the right person quickly. And so they don't really have time to like care about your feelings. They don't really, it's not personal, and they don't have time to make it personal. So if you don't get a role because you're too short, like that's it. It has nothing to do with your height and whether your height is good or bad. It is just not right for that role. And there will be another role that comes along where your height is perfect. So, yeah, dealing with rejection is very hard, and it takes a long time to learn how to deal with that and not let it affect you personally. What do you think helped you grow the most as an actor? Definitely working with other actors. I always think that the more you do something, the better you get at it. I do a lot of singing on stage now. And back when I was younger, I used to get total stage fright. Like, my knees would knock together whenever I was on stage in front of people. I just got horrible stage fright. Crippling stage fright, actually. Like, I couldn't do my job on stage because I was so shaky and nervous. Had nothing to do with my talent. Like, I knew I could do the thing. I knew I could go out there and sing a song or like give a speech or do whatever it was I needed to do. It was just this weird psychological stage fright thing that I couldn't get over. And the only way that I was able to get past that is by doing it many, 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 many times. Now I'm on stage like twice a week. And so I'm not nervous. I'm just really comfortable up there. So just do it. The more you do it, makes you a better actor, makes you grow as a person. And then being around other actors that are better than you and more experienced than you is also very helpful, especially in comedy, because comedy it's risky in terms of you want to bring your own thing to the character and you want to ad-lib a little bit here and there, but you also want to stay true to the source material and respect the writer, because, you know, obviously the screenwriter was paid to write these lines, so you should respect the lines that they've written and be careful where you ad-lib and where you don't. And I've learned that from just working with other actors and other very experienced comedic actors. So, yeah, I think at one point, when I was talking to you earlier, I was talking about Amanda Bynes was one person that I worked with on set where she was just so well respected and so kind to everyone and so professional, right? Like, she showed up on time, early, actually. She knew her lines. She knew everybody's names. She made sure to go and say good morning to every person on set, regardless of whether they worked in props or in the hair and makeup department or if they or executive producer or the president of Nickelodeon. It didn't matter who it was. She went out of her way to be kind to them. And she was very kind to me, and I was a massive fan of hers. And they say don't meet your heroes, but she definitely exceeded my expectations. I love her to death. Was there anyone who mentored you when you were starting out, and what did you learn from them? Yeah, like I said a bit ago, Amanda Bynes, she didn't really mentor me, but I did watch what she was doing on set and learned from it. We had this cool opportunity being on the sketch comedy show that we were on, is that we would have a celebrity guest and a musical guest every week. So every week, I'm working closely with A-list actors. I mean, Britney Spears was there. Justin Timberlake was there. I mean, you name it. Lisa Leslie, the basketball player. Tony Hawk came. Who else? Like Will Friedle, Matthew Lillard, Melissa Joan Hart. Like, all of these huge stars at the time were coming and doing guest spots. Like, I'm acting with them. Like, I'm in a scene with Britney Spears. Like, this is crazy. Not that she's an actor, but, you know, she's a very experienced performer. So just getting to work with so many high-level celebrities when I was young definitely helped me. But Like I mentioned before, I went from theater acting to on-camera acting. And once I moved to LA, I was living in Washington State at the time doing theater. And when I moved to LA with my family, I was a theater actor and I did not know how to act on camera. So I had to get an acting coach to teach me how to audition, how to be subtle on camera as opposed to making it larger than life for the back row. So I did have an acting teacher named Cindy Hogan, who mentored me, and she still teaches acting. I think you should still hit her up if you need an acting teacher. Let's see. How do you prepare for an audition? And do you have any tips for someone new to auditioning? So this is something we were talking about before, you can't really teach it, but there's a sweet spot in auditioning between being prepared and being over-prepared. And what I mean by that is, like, take, for example, self-tapes. So almost every audition that you're going to have is self-tape. You put yourself on tape, you send it to the casting director, they watch it, and you either hear back or you don't. Very different from when I was growing up. There was no self-tapes when I was growing up in the industry. It was, you were in the room, and you had to charm the casting director in the room and nail it one time, and that's it. I prefer it that way, actually. I like being in the room with the casting director, but that's a thing of the past. So when you do a self-tape audition, yeah, you have chances to redo it over and over. You can do as many takes as you want. But I would say if you're doing a self-tape and you do more than 2 or 3 takes, then you don't have a performance problem, you have a preparation problem. That means you are not prepared enough, you don't know your lines enough, you should be able to nail it on the first take, and if not the first take, definitely the second take, and then that should be it. If you're doing like 10 or 11, 12 takes of a self-tape, you have not prepared well enough. But that being said, there is also such a thing as being over-prepared, meaning you have spent way too many hours memorizing your lines, and so now when you film yourself, you are very robotic. And you're not thinking about your character, and you're not thinking about being in the scene. You're thinking about all the words that you just memorized and bringing them to the front of your brain. And that's not what we want as an actor. We want to know our lines as an actor, but we also want to be real on camera. The whole point of being a character is that you want to portray that character as real as possible. And I haven't memorized what I'm going to say next. You haven't memorized what you're going to say next. We grasp for it. Our brains come up with the thought and we say it, and that's the process. So we have to cleverly, and it's a skill, and that's why acting is a skill. You have to have lines mostly memorized, just enough that you can reach for them and say them as if they are an original thought at that moment. Very difficult to do. Do well, at least. So yeah, I'd say, to prepare for an audition, I try to be really well versed in the character. What is this character trying to say? What do these words mean? Not the words themselves, but what is the feeling behind every sentence? What am I trying to do here? And not memorize too much. I want my performance. There have been times in a self-tape audition where I forgot the line, but because I was so in character, I just kind of kept going, and I threw out some of my own ad-libs and eventually got to that line. And that was sometimes it's like the best audition I've ever done. Sometimes it turns out really well. And that's what the casting director wants to see. They want you to see you act. They don't want to see you memorize, if that helps. What kinds of roles or projects have shaped you the most in your career? Definitely being on All That just shaped my entire acting career. And that was a very rare opportunity where it was, like I said, it was sketch comedy, where I got to do the on-camera acting thing where, if I messed up a line, I could do it again and be like, I could do it as many times as they needed me to do it, as I needed to do it. But every Friday we'd film in front of a live studio audience, and we would try to do every sketch all in one take, just like theater, for the giant sea of kids who were just laughing their heads off because, we were the only thing to watch on Saturday nights on Nickelodeon. Whatever was happening on Disney, who cares? But, those kids in the audience, they didn't have cell phones, like they didn't have TikTok and, all these streaming services where you can just pick and choose what you want to watch at any time. All they had to watch on Saturday nights was me, was my show. So yeah, the whole country knew my show. So yeah, it was really fun to perform for a giant sea of kids who were already a massive fan of you. Some of the best times ever. Really shaped me as an actor getting to do that. What is something you wish you had known when you started out in this industry? Do not care too much. Care enough, but do not care too much. And what I mean by that is that it is your job to nail the audition. It is not your job to land the role. Right? That's very difficult to accept as an actor, right? Like when you audition for a role, you think the goal is to like get that role. I'm auditioning for Macbeth, and so I'm going to do this audition, then I'm going to be Macbeth. I want to be Macbeth. Like, no, like you need to, I know I shouldn't say that word. It's a faux pas, but, your only job is to nail the audition. And then once you do that, you need to just let it go out of your brain. Like it never happened, like it's done. You need to walk out of a successful audition the same way you would if you got the role, because you've just gained experience. You're now a better actor. More people have seen you act, and it's not your choice now. After you nail the audition, there's nothing you can do further to solidify that role. You can't send the casting director flowers. You can't call up the director and say, please hire me. You can do nothing. It's out of your hands. And if you stress too much about the role itself, it will destroy you. And I can tell you that from firsthand experience. Is in my late teens, definitely like 17, 18, 19, where, I'd been in the industry for many years, but, I was getting to the point where I was gaining a lot more recognition. I was auditioning for a lot bigger movie roles, ones that I really, really, really wanted. And then when I didn't get them, or I was runner-up to another girl who got them, it's like, it would crush me. I would go into these mini bouts of depression because I cared so much about something that was totally out of my control. The only thing I could control was my audition. So if I nailed the audition, that's all I can do. Very difficult to accept that. And also, it's difficult to compare yourself to everyone else because, yes, I've been runner-up for a lot of really big roles that if I would have gotten those roles, my life would be very different today. But I truly believe in that everything happens for a reason. I have to believe that. Like, my life is awesome. My life is super awesome. I love what I do. And who knows, my life may have not turned out the same way if I would have gotten those big roles. But it's easy to compare yourself to the girl who did get the role and like, look, that's her on the billboard. And I even had cousins who wore her on a shirt because they were such big fans of her movie. And like, that killed me. I was like, oh, that's the girl that got it. Like, I wanted that role. And it's easy to, look at other actors on Instagram and on YouTube and all their millions of views and their, beautiful hair and makeup and their hot boyfriends and like whatever. Like, it's really easy to compare yourself to other people and other actors, but I can't stress to you how much you cannot do that and how much it is a detriment to your career if you do that. Because if that girl's an actor, we already have her, right? Like, we already have this like skinny, hot Barbie doll looking blonde. We don't need another one. We need a brunette version. Like, we need a character actor. We need a girl who looks kind of like her, but then with freckles. We need character actors. I'm telling you. And let me tell you, it's more fun to be a character actor than it is to be like the pretty leading lady. Who cares about that? Like, it's the fun, nitty gritty, like sometimes day player roles that are the most fun you'll ever have as an actor. So don't try to compare yourself to other actors. Don't just go after the leading lady or the leading man. Really figure out what your niche is as an actor and what you are good at and hone that in. What makes you different? Why should casting hire you instead of that girl? What do you have that's different than her? Because it will matter in your career. I promise you it will matter. How do you balance the creative side of acting with the business side and personal life of the industry? Yes, I would say the rarest personality combination is somebody who is both artistic and organized. Usually you get one or the other, right? People who are very business-minded and organized are usually not very creative or artsy, and people who are artists are usually a total mess, like their life's in shambles. Pretty much. I'm an actor. I don't want to deal with my bank account. I can't do math. I am too busy being a thespian, right? That's definitely a stereotype, but I've seen it enough times to say that it's real. But in this day and age, you have to be. Like, nowadays you have to be your own marketer, sometimes your own agent, your own hair and makeup person, like sometimes your own director. We have access to the internet now where we didn't when I was younger. So go build your portfolio on Instagram and YouTube and just use these free platforms to show the world your talent, because you don't need to wait until you land a movie role to go play a crazy character. Go play a crazy character in a little sketch and throw it on TikTok. You never know if a casting director is coming to look at your profile to see what you can do. And then that's exactly what they're looking for. The more you put yourself out there, the better you'll do. What advice would you give to someone like me who wants to become an actress? Kind of what I just said. We have these free platforms. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have TikTok. Use these wisely. Set up your profiles that make it clear that you are an actor. Here's my contact information. Here's what I do. Make your profile picture your headshot. Post pictures of your headshots. Any clips of anything you've done. I don't care if it's a grainy video from a play that you were in, or a 2-second clip from a independent film. I don't care what it is. Post it on your profile. Everything. Just put it out there. Let people see what you can do, and make your own videos. Make little sketches. I was saying earlier that my time on all that was rare because it was like a sketch comedy show. We don't have a lot of those now, but we do kind of, like, there's so many people doing sketch comedy on the internet in their own little TikTok videos. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. And it's a great way to just be on camera more and get comfortable more, and bring in your friends, bring in other actors, like do little sketches with them, do a little web show. Like, you're going to gain so much experience by not only, doing that in front of the camera with your friends and other actors, but also now you're the director, and now you're the cinematographer, and now you're the editor. You will learn so much about the craft as a whole by seeing these other perspectives. Let's see. How do you stay motivated and confident in the industry? Like I said before, it is by not comparing myself to other people. It is so easy to get discouraged and say, why even bother, when I'm looking at other girls who are my exact type, who are doing a lot better than me in the industry. It's all a facade. Everybody's going to make it look like their life is more glamorous than yours online. That's the point of it, right? But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You just don't know. So just stay on your own path, figure out what makes you unique, and really, really lean into that. Do you think 20 years is too old to start in acting? Absolutely not. I wish I was 20 years old starting in acting right now. It is both the hardest and easiest it's ever been to be an actor. Easiest meaning, like I said, you have the ability to showcase your talent in so many ways online that I did not have. When I was 12 years old, starting out in LA and going on auditions, my only chance to show people that I had talent was in the room of an audition in that 2 minutes that I got. That's it. In that 2 minutes, I couldn't show people my range of characters. They didn't know I was a dancer and a singer and I could do this awesome impression of Jim Carrey. Like, they didn't care. I had 2 minutes to show one casting director that I was a good actor. So you can see how it would take a long time to go on a lot of auditions and perform for a lot of casting directors and a lot of producers so that at some point you're discovered. That was very difficult. But now that's not the case. Now you can have all these acting profiles online with all of your reels and your headshots and all that fun stuff. So that makes it easy. Also, you don't have to live in LA anymore. You can do these self-tape auditions from all over the country. That makes it way easy. It's also the hardest it's ever been because now everyone can do it. Everyone has that accessibility to acting. And so back maybe when I was auditioning for a commercial, they would see maybe 20 girls, and now it's hundreds. Like, there's some, I swear there's some of these acting websites where casting directors just kind of open up 100 thumbnails of actors that are kind of the right type, and they just say, her, bring them into audition. It's like a lottery. So, you have a lot more competition, but you also have a lot more abilities to shine. And I do believe that cream will rise to the top and that talent will always be recognized when the right person sees it. So, I really appreciate you chatting with me today. I hope that you have gotten some value out of my insight and experience. I love what I do, and I'm going to be an actor for the rest of my life. It's just literally who I am. It's how I'm built. There's not enough rejection in this world that could make me stop doing what I do. And if you're the same way, then I'm sorry. But also, you're going to have the best life ever.